Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make another piece of pixel art. This time, it's going to be a Game Boy SP. I'm not sure how many of you guys remember these, but I'm continuing the saga of the Nintendo handhelds. So, if you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need black wool, dark grey, light grey, white, red, light green, and finally, light blue wool. We may need some more colours later on, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It really does depend on what we decide to put on the screen. So once you've got all of your colours and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'm going to be making it right here. You're going to want to start out with a row of 18 black wool in a row on the floor. 1, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Give you something which should look a little bit like that. What you then want to do once you've got your row of 18, you're going to want to come over to the left side of it, right here, and from this end block here, you're going to want to do an up left diagonal, like so. What you then want to do is stack 12 blocks directly on top of this up left diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And what you want to do with this 12th block is you just want to do a block directly to the right of it, like that. That's going to be an important marker point for us later on. So you're going to want to have something which should look a little bit like this so far. Pause this if you need to catch up. If not, here's what you want to do next. So, continuing on in the same line that we just went 12 up with, you're going to want to do a further 17 black blocks going up in the same line. So 17 stacked directly on top of here. 1, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. To give you something which should look, if we can zoom out far enough, a little bit like that. And that's pretty much as high as this is going to go. Well, it's actually going 1 block higher, but you know, pretty much covers that. So once you've reached this point right here, pause this if necessary of course, you're going to want to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other side here. So coming over to the right side of our row of 18, you're going to want to do an upright diagonal. And then, if you remember, you're going to want to stack 12 blocks on top of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then do a black block to the left of that 12th block to give you something which should look like that, to give you the marker point. And you may want to check that those two black blocks line up, like the one on the left lines up with the one that you've just done, and they seem to. So pause this if you need to catch up. If not, you're then going to want to proceed to add on the 17 black blocks on top of this line right here, as we did on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. To give you something which should look a little bit like that. And they seem to line up. That's why I zoomed out. I wanted to make sure of that. So once you are at this point right here, pause this if necessary of course, all you're going to want to do is connect this line that we have on the left here to this line that we have on the right. And you're just going to want to, starting from either side as a matter of fact, you're just going to want to do a diagonal and then just connect them together diagonally like so. So you're just going to want to throw a line right there to give you something which should overall look a little bit like that. And of course there's no need to count out that line, although it will be the same size as our original starting line. So you're going to want to have a giant rectangular shape that is, well, it's not really cut in half by the two little single blacks that we've done, because they should be positioned on the 13th block up, but close enough to being cut in half. Anyway, that's what you want to have so far. Pause this if necessary of course. Once you've reached this point right here, it's time to add a little bit of detail in. So remember how we have these two little single black blocks on the left and the right hand side here? Well, now is where they become useful. So directly underneath them, working on this row right here, you're just going to want to do an entire row of dark grey wall spanning from left to right underneath the 2 black blocks. So you're going to want to have something which should look like that. And that sets you up for this next line. So the next line, we're going to be connecting these two little black blocks that we have on the left and right hand side here together. And you're going to want to do this. So from going from left to right, starting with this block right here, the block directly to the right of this little single black, you're going to want to do 1 dark grey, 7 black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're then going to want to do 5 dark grey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to want to finish this off with 2 black wool and then 1 dark grey to give you something which should look like this. Then, what you want to do for the next row going up, we're going to be doing a few rows like this, because this is like the midway point between like the screen and the actual bottom of the hand. I don't really know how to describe it, like the bit that you'd grip, like with all of the controls and such, like this is the midway point. So, continuing on top of the row that you've just done, you're going to want to do this, and going from left to right again, except this time starting from the right of the outline, you're going to want to do 2 white wool, 7 dark grey, just in the same position as the black, that's why I didn't count those out. You're then going to want to do 5 white wool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to want to do 2 dark grey, and finally 2 white wool to give you something which should look a little bit like that. Next row on top of that, you're going to want to do this. So again, starting on top of the next row, you're going to want to do 2 black wool, 7 light grey, again just positioned on top of what we previously have so you don't have to count them out, 5 black wool, just positioned on top of the white so I don't have to count them, 2 light grey, and finally 2 black wool to give you something which should look a little bit like that. And we only have 1 more row to do like this, and then we can start adding in more specific bits of detail. So this is going to be the 5th and final row that we make like this. So again, starting on top of the next row, going from left to right, you're going to want to do this. And this row is a bit more unique. And as a matter of fact, we're going to make it like this. So starting from the left hand side, you're going to want to do 1 white, 2 light grey, then you're going to want to come all the way over to the other side here and start from the right hand side, starting from outwards going inwards. And you're just going to want to do 1 dark grey, and then 1 light grey, and then you're just going to want to fill the gap between what you have on the right and the left hand side here, in between with white wool. So you're just going to want to have something which should look like that, and that's just easier than counting out a load of white wool. So this is what you want to have in total. I mean, let me see if I can give you a nice close-up view of that, since we do have quite a few rows in there. So pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, we can move on to the next part. So I figure we're going to focus on the upper screen first, and then we'll mess about with the I still don't know what to call it, like the grippy part below. I don't know what to call that, but anyway, here's what you want to do. So we're going to be doing this a little unconventionally, and can't really give you specific instructions, but it's going to be very easy to see what I'm doing. So you're going to want to start on the left hand side here, and where we have this single white, here's what you want to do. This single white wants to run all the way up the left side of your pixel art, and it also wants to run just below the top like this. So you're going to want to do what is essentially 2 giant white lines like that, which span most of the screen. So you're going to want to have something which should look like this. Pause this if necessary. What you then want to do is come over to the right hand side here, and where you have this dark grey wool, you're just going to want to extend this directly up until you hit the white that you should have just done. So you're going to want to have something which looks like that, and I noticed that it's starting to get ever so slightly dark. So I'm going to cut this out here, and we'll be back with the rest of the screen. So back in a second. Alright, so continuing on with the screen, here's what you want to do next after you've done your row of dark grey wool. So you're going to want to come over to this left side again, and you're going to want to do something similar with the light grey as you did with the white. So right here, right next to the white wool, you're going to want to extend up this light grey block right up to the top, just sitting underneath this white. then you're going to want to make it go all the way over to the right hand side, as you did with the white, except this time you just want to do a single light grey coming down. So you're going to want to make this sort of shape with the light grey. So very similar as you did with the white, although you've just got that little extra bit there. And then what you want to do is you want to come over to the right hand side here, and where you have this single light grey block, you're just going to want to connect this light grey to the light grey that you have up there. So you're just going to want to have something which should look a little bit like this. Pause that if necessary, if you need to catch up. Once you've done that, we've just got a few more lines to add in, and then we can move on to the bottom. So here's what you want to do with this squarish space that we have here. So first of all, you're going to want to do 2 solid rows of dark grey, just sitting like on top of this part here. So going from left to right, you just want to do 2 solid rows of dark grey like this. To give you something which should look like that. What you then want to do is you just want to make a square shape running up the left and right hand side and connecting together at the top. You see, a lot of this I can't really explain. A lot of this is just a lot better if I just quite simply do it and then show you, instead of trying to go into explaining mode, which seems almost unnecessary. So you want to make that sort of shape with your dark grey, very simple, and that's like the outside of the actual screen part. Like the glass is in there, and that's where you can see whatever you're playing. So once you've done that, pause that if necessary. We're going to be leaving that alone because I haven't decided what we're going to be doing with it. I figure I'll decide that once we've done the entire colouring process, and I really don't have anything planned for it at the moment. It's either going to be blank, or maybe we'll just throw some colour in there or something. It's kind of small. We can't really even throw anything in it. I'm sure I'll think of anything. I don't want this tutorial to be any longer than it's supposed to be, so we'll have enough chatting about the screen. Let's get cracking with the rest. So pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, you're pretty much halfway complete with the pixel art at this point. So here's what you want to do. You're going to want to come to this entire row of dark grey that you may have remembered placing earlier, and you're going to want to find this row of 7 black that you placed. And here's what you want to do. This is kind of tricky to explain, but again, very easy to do. You just want to do a single dark grey underneath this spot right here, and it just wants to be in line with this dark grey that is to the right of your 7 black walls. So you just want to have something which should look like that. What you then want to do is you want to come over to the right hand side here, again, just sitting underneath this entire row of dark grey that we did earlier. And on the right hand side, right next to the outline, you're just going to want to do a single light green and a single red wall underneath that light green. So you're just going to want to have something which should look like that. What you then want to do underneath the light green, and I was just about to say light red, but then again we do have a dark red in the form of Never Brick, but I wouldn't really call that dark red. Underneath the green and the red anyway, you're just going to want to do 3 light grey wool. So, like so. What you then want to do is this. You're going to want to, continuing the line underneath the light grey wool, you're just going to want to go straight down with your dark grey, and then you're just going to want to go like right all the way over to the left with your dark grey. So you're just going to want to do this. Again, trying to explain stuff that really doesn't need explaining. What you then want to do, once you've hit the left side of our pixel art with your dark, I almost said the wrong colour, with your dark grey, you're just going to want to do a row of white wool, just like hugging the left outline of the pixel art. I'm going to stop talking in a second. To give you something which should look a little bit like that. Pause this if necessary. In case you're wondering, that little green and red that we have over on the right hand side there, that's quite simply the on and off light thingies. So once you've reached this point right here, pause this if necessary of course, you're going to want to do this. Where we have this single dark grey wool that we placed here earlier, you're going to want to do an entire line of light grey wool stemming below it until you hit the bottom of the pixel art, like so. What you then want to do, either side of this bottom block of light grey, you're going to want to do a block of dark grey. Underneath the single dark greys that you have, you're going to want to knock out the dark greys that are underneath them, like that. And you just want to replace them with light grey wool. So, just to show you what you've done there, you're going to want to have something which should look like that. Alright, so once you've reached this point right here, pause this if necessary of course, all we've got to do is add in the controls, the buttons and such. So what you're going to want to do is come over to the right hand side of your pixel art, where we have these three light grey, and from this middle light grey here, going left, you're going to want to do this little combination of colours. You want to do one black, one dark grey, one black. What you then want to do above and beneath the dark grey is just place a single black block, like so. What you then want to do, coming from the left of this black that we have underneath the dark grey, you're going to want to do this little combination of colours. You want to do two light grey, one black, one dark grey, one black. And then similarly to what you did over here, you just want to place a black underneath and above the dark grey that you placed to give you something which should look like that. Should be very easy for you to do. And what you want to do after you've done that, pause this if necessary of course, continuing on in the same line as that we have right here, like in line with this black and this light grey, continuing on left from here, you're going to want to do this little combination of colours. You're going to want to do two light grey, six black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that until you hit the other part of the outline. I kind of stalled there after I said six black because I was doing some counting. But anyway, what you want to do after you've done your two light grey and six black, you're going to want to stack another six black on top of your six black, like so. What you then want to do is you want to raise up the two middle blocks on top of your six black, so these two right here, and then do that once more to give you that. And you're going to want to do the same thing on the underside as well. So what you've essentially done there is made the D-pad. So let me show you the left and the right hand sides all separately. So that's where you want to have the D-pad. Pause this if necessary. And this is what you want to have for the A and B button. Is it the A and B button? I can't remember whether they swapped it over. It's unlikely to be anything other. That's how Nintendo rolls. But that's what you want to have for the two little buttons on the right hand side. That's where they want to be positioned. Pause that if necessary. And once you have done that, here's what we're going to do. So all we have to do now is do a little bit of colouring in. That whole bottom section there has to be filled in with light grey. And this top section, I'm going to see if I can think of something cool to put in there. I don't know whether you've caught like my Game Boy Advance tutorial or my Game Boy Color tutorial. I don't usually have anything planned for these. I kind of try to make it up on the fly. That screen is quite small, so I might have to take the uncreative way out, but we'll see. So I'm going to be back once I've filled in this entire bottom section in with light grey wool, and as I said, I'm going to see if I can figure something out for that screen, so back in a sec. Alright guys, so it seems that we have some good news and some bad news. Let's start with the good news. The good news is once you've reached this point right here, you are 99% complete with this tutorial, in which that you have just finished filling in that little bottom section of the Game Boy in with light grey, and all you have to do now is fill in the screen, which leads us on to the bad news. So the bad news is that I had some creative trouble with the screen, as you can see. Nothing fits in there. My original idea was to get a bit of a Zelda theme going. The smallest thing that I can think of to put in there with the Zelda theme was Link. He doesn't fit in there. I went smaller. I was going to throw the Triforce on there. Doesn't fit. The screen's too small. Abandoned that idea. Went over to Mario. Everything's too small. Pokemon. Only thing that'd fit in there really is Pikachu. I don't want to do another Pokemon themed handheld console screen. I've already done 2 of them. Which leads me with this. I just went with the stock screen. This is what I have on my original design of this, which is very easy to do, but also a bit bland. I kind of wanted something recognisable in there. I wanted something Nintendo based. I wanted something interesting, but unfortunately I've been left with this. And I hope that you guys will actually come up with something a lot better than I have. I hope that you guys have a much better idea for the screen than I do. Speaking of which, if you guys do decide to make this, and you are a little bit more creative than me, I would like to see some sort of image or video of what you decide to do with that screen. I would like, for my own purposes, so I can go back and change my old one, I would like to see something a little better than what I have here. I mean, this is okay. As I said, it's just a bit bland, and the reason that I've zoomed in, if you guys can't think of anything either, feel free to copy this. There's nothing special about this, there's no real relevance. Very easy for you to copy, that's why I'm not going through the actual verbal instructions. You guys should be able to figure that out quite easily by yourself. Start with 2 lines of light blue wool on the bottom and work your way up from there. Very simple, nothing too much to that whatsoever, but yeah, I'd love to see your guys' ideas. This is where streaming would come into play. This is I need to get the logistics of that figured out, is what I need to do. But anyway, that is more than enough talking. Once you've done that, once you've reached this point in the tutorial right here, once you've figured out what you want for the screen, there is no more to do with this Game Boy. So I hope this was easy enough to follow. I hope I didn't drone on too much. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. The next Nintendo thing I'm going to be showing you how to make Nintendo console is the DS. I'm working my way up through the years. So, thanks for watching, and see you. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.